Greetings, friends. Prepare for another thrilling journey as we delve into Reddit's most bizarre tales. We're plunging deep into the quirkiest corners of the web. Grab your popcorn and join us on this adventure. Remember to hit subscribe and like. Let's begin. My wife and I have been together for almost 20 years, but our intimate life has been gradually declining for the last 15 years. A few months ago, we sat down and had a serious conversation. We discussed ways to rekindle the spark we once had, and one of the main things we both agreed on was the need for date nights and other activities. Things seem to be improving slightly, but I'm usually the one initiating intimacy, and 90% of the time, I get turned down with various excuses. Too tired, not in the mood. Our son is awake, he's 18 years old and doing his own thing. Not feeling well, headache, aches, and pains. And my personal favorite, we can't because you have to get up early for work. Despite this, we persisted with the date nights. Out of the 9 I organized over the last 2 months, my wife canceled 7, often without notice, even for plans made weeks in advance. She would come home from work and announce she was going out with her friends. When I mentioned our planned date night, she claimed she had simply forgotten, despite it being marked on the calendar on the fridge, which was her idea. This weekend, I spent 2 weeks planning a special date night. Imagine this, a whole weekend away, a suite in a 5-star hotel, dinner at a Michelin-star restaurant, tickets to the theater, something she's always wanted to do, and shopping for some fancy clothes. I picked her up after work, having packed casual clothes and toiletries for us both. When I told her I had a surprise planned, she immediately started protesting, saying she had things to do. I had already checked the calendar and confirmed with her friends that they didn't have plans for the weekend. I assured her that everything was taken care of and she didn't have to worry. She raised the issue of clothing, but I informed her that I had it covered. She seemed to calm down, and off we went, although the atmosphere in the car was tense. A few hours later, we arrived at the hotel and checked in. She seemed to cheer up when she saw our suite. When she asked about our plans, I gave her a brief rundown: shopping, sightseeing, dinner, and a show. We had a light lunch at the hotel restaurant and went sightseeing. On Saturday, we went shopping ahead of our planned evening. Several hours later, we returned to the hotel to get ready for dinner. When she emerged from the bathroom, she looked stunning in a dark blue evening gown, matching lingerie, 4-inch heels, jewelry, and perfectly done hair and makeup. My jaw dropped. She smiled at me and gave me a twirl, looking as beautiful as the day we got married. Dinner went as well as it could, although there was very little conversation between us. We took a taxi to the theater, and at least I got a thank you for this part. I had arranged for a pair of mutual friends to join us at the theater, and they had secured our tickets. We took our seats and began enjoying the show. Just as the intermission started, I reached over and placed my hand over hers to ask if she liked the show so far. To my surprise, she snatched her hand away as if bitten by a snake. She looked me square in the eyes and told me, loud enough for several people around us to hear, that whatever I thought was going to happen tonight when we got back to the hotel, I could forget it. Her words were dripping with disdain and anger. Our friends didn't know where to look or what to say. My wife told me to move because she needed to use the bathroom. At this point, something inside me snapped. I got up, apologized to our friends, informed them I was leaving, and hoped they enjoyed the rest of the show. I received a text from my friends when I got back to our hotel room, telling me they had informed my wife that I had left, and she just shrugged her shoulders. Still seething with anger, I decided to head home. I packed my clothes, caught a taxi to the nearest train station, and managed to get the last train home. I left a note for my wife along with the car keys so she could get herself home. From the moment I received the text from my friends to the time I got home, I didn't receive a single message or call from my wife to check if I was okay or even where I was. This morning, I decided to move to the guest room. I noticed I needed some new bedroom furniture, so I headed to IKEA, not the best decision on a Sunday morning. After struggling with flat packs, I gave up for the day. My wife asked about the new furniture, but seemed to understand when she noticed my clothes and personal items were not in the master bedroom. She didn't say anything to me until about an hour ago when she asked why I was being so childish. I politely explained about the previous canceled date nights in favor of her friends and her completely unnecessary outburst at me during the intermission at the theater. She shrugged her shoulders again and asked if intimacy was all I was interested in. I brought up her attitude when I picked her up from work on Friday with the intent of surprising her. She told me to deal with it. Now, I'm sitting on my rear deck, typing this on my laptop while sipping a large glass of JG, debating my next steps, the anger still bubbling inside me.